Everybody? Today I'm going to show you how to do something that I bet you've wanted to know how to do for a while. How to move the objects that you create. In order to demonstrate this, I'm going to start out by just creating a circle named C with a radius of 0.5. Then I'm going to color this circle using the color function. I'm going to color it wood colored, and then I'm going to show our circle. I'm going to turn the grid on so you have a better sense of direction and location for our circle and zoom out a little bit. As you can see, and as you've probably come to expect by now, this circle is created and displayed at the origin of the graph, with its center located directly at the point 0, 0. Notice how there are two arrows coming out from the origin here. One of them, the one representing the x-axis, is red, and the other one, the one representing the y-axis, is green. You can see this in the compass down here on the bottom left corner. One important thing to notice about this is that the direction that these arrows are pointing are the positive directions for the x and the y axes. So now we can move our object. We're going to do this by going in before our show function and using the move function. This move function takes in three parameters. The first is just the name of the object that we want to move, so just C in this case. The second parameter is the number of spaces that you want to move it in the x direction, so in this case let's just say 2. The third parameter is the number of spaces you want to move it in the y direction, so let's say 1. We can expect our object to move 2 spaces to the right in the positive x direction and 1 up in the positive y direction. Exactly as we thought. 2 units on x and 1 unit on y. But what if we use the move function twice, you might ask? You see, this is a thing that confuses people very often in this course, but there's no need to be confused. The reason that people get confused is that they think that these two numbers represent the coordinates that we are moving this to. However, this is not the case. What these numbers really represent are shifts along the x and the y directions from where it's currently located. So if we call move again, and we decide to move our object C, and we move it -2 units in the x direction and -1 units in the y direction, we don't expect it to go down here to the point -2, -1. Instead, we expect it to go from where it is here, -2 and -1 down. So let's run our program and see where it ends up. Like we thought, directly at the origin. One more important thing to know before we wrap this video up is that the move function can also move three-dimensional objects on the x and y axes. Let me demonstrate this quickly by removing the move function calls and turning our circle C into our cylinder C using the prism function and giving it a depth of 0.5. The cylinder is located at the origin, just like our circle was, and it has a radius of 0.5. So if we want to move it along the xy plane, we first have to know what the xy plane is. And what the xy plane is this surface created by the x and y axes that we can see as this grid here in this three-dimensional view. So if we want to move this, it's just going to shift across the xy plane. So if we move it, let's do some familiar coordinates here, 2 and 1, it's just going to shift over to this point here. Exactly like we expected. 2 units x, 1 unit y. So before we go, remember one thing. The move function shifts the object a specified number of points. It does not move it to coordinates that you give it. I hope this video was useful, and have fun playing around with the objects now that you know how to move them.